the spark that ignited the war. For 10,000 years, humanity had lived scattered across the spiral arms of the galaxy, colonies, free worlds, artificial habitats, drifting city ships, and quiet frontier settlements. They had no single empire, no unified banner, no supreme council. Instead, they existed as a mosaic of cultures and branches, baseline humans, cybernetic clans, bio-augments, digital minds, and the strange phase walkers who drifted between dimensions. To observers, this looked like chaos. To the Celestial Conclave, it looked like weakness. The 47-species alliance, proud of their order and hierarchy, viewed humans as unpredictable and dangerously independent. Their reports described humanity as fractured, decentralized, and technologically inconsistent, a species incapable of unified action. Strike now, urged the Illuminatory chair in the crystalline chamber of Vila Prime, before they grow stronger, before they evolve again. The conclave debated for 3 days. Some argued for diplomacy. Others spoke of fear, an ancient, instinctive fear humans inspired across the galaxy. But fear often disguises itself as arrogance, and arrogance won. The vote passed. Humanity must be subdued. Their first target was Helios 3, a peaceful farming colony of 400,000 souls. The colony had no military bases, no orbital defenses, just green continents, school domes, and quiet oceans. The conclave fleet arrived without warning. Night turned into fire. Cities crumbled. Families fled toward underground shelters that were never meant for war. And when the final transmission from Helios 3 flickered through human space, a child crying beneath a burning sky, the galaxy crossed a line it could never uncross. The conclave celebrated their victory, expecting humanity to scatter further, to retreat, to surrender. They miscalculated. Across 1,000 human worlds, something ancient stayed. Not fear, not panic, memory. Humanity had been wiped out before. Humanity had risen from ashes before. Humanity had survived meteors, plagues, machine uprisings, and civil wars that tore planets apart. They were not strangers to loss, but they were also not strangers to retaliation. Deep beneath the gray deserts of Luna, an ancient intelligence awakened. Quantum systems hummed to life. Dormant algorithms fused into consciousness. Convergence mind activation complete. For the first time in 8 millennia, every human branch received the same message. Unified threat detected. Civilian blood spilled. Protocol unity initiated. Across the stars, the response was immediate and terrifyingly efficient. Augmented regiments mobilized. Digital humans slipped into conclave networks. Drone factories ignited in asteroid belts. Phase walkers drifted toward enemy borders like ghosts preparing for war. Humanity had not been united in thousands of years. But the destruction of Helios 3 accomplished what no treaty or leader ever could. On every world, humans spoke the same words. They think we are weak. And in that moment, the fate of the galaxy shifted. Helios 3 was not the end. It was a spark. It was a mistake the conclave would forever regret. Because humanity was not preparing for a battle. Humanity was preparing for war. The reveal of humanity's true nature. 30 hours after Helios 3 fell, the galaxy learned the first truth about humanity. They respond faster than anyone expects. Conclave intelligence had always insisted that humans lacked a central authority. Their worlds were governed independently, their militaries uncoordinated, their cultures wildly diverse. To the conclave, this meant disorganization. In reality, it meant resilience. On Astra Prime, citizens gathered around holoscreens replaying the last moments of Helios 3, a man holding his daughter, a teacher shielding students, a medic trying to hold back flames with trembling hands. Within an hour, 10,000 volunteers enlisted. Within 2 hours, cybernetic clans activated dormant warframes. Within 3 hours, asteroid factories began producing autonomous combat drones, and across the quantum net, digital humans whispered into each other's minds. Prepare. But the true shift, the moment that petrified the galaxy, came from beyond known space. The Odyssey fleet returned. 6,000 years earlier, they had departed human territory to explore the void beyond the galactic rim. Their ships were enormous, experimental, crewed by augmented humans who aged slowly and adapted rapidly. Their journey was expected to last centuries. Instead, they vanished for millennia. Most believed them lost. Then, as humanity prepared for war, gravitational distortions rippled across the spiral arm. Space folded like fabric, and 54 colossal starships emerged, vessels larger than anything in current galactic design. Their hulls shimmered with technologies impossible to comprehend. The flagship, Odyssey Eternal, broadcast a message to all human systems. We return, who threatens our kin? Every human world erupted in hope. Every conclave world trembled. For the Odyssey crews had not merely survived, they had changed. Their bodies carried adaptations unseen in baseline humans. Their minds were fused with alien knowledge. They were explorers who had become something more, something evolved by the cosmos itself. As the Odyssey fleet aligned with human defenses, the Convergence Mind issued its first directive. Phase 1, Containment. Strike strategically. Cripple their fleets. Human retaliation was swift. Conclave patrols stationed near human borders detected empty space. They relaxed. They believed the humans were afraid to confront them. Then space-time tore open. Human warships burst through folded space corridors, appearing behind enemy formations with mathematical precision. Drone swarms spiraled like metallic storms. Cybernetic carriers deployed rail lances that cut through shields like cloth. Phase walkers materialized inside conclave vessels, sabotaging engines before vanishing again. The first battle lasted 7 minutes. The conclave lost nearly all their ships. Survivors transmitted frantic warnings. They adapt too fast. They are everywhere. This is not the species we studied. They were right. The humans they thought they understood no longer existed. This was a united humanity, a converged humanity, a humanity reinforced by an ancient fleet returning from the edges of the universe. The Conclave had wanted to prevent human growth. Instead, they had triggered human evolution, and the war had only just begun. The turning point, the Battle of Three Suns. Every war has a moment that decides its outcome long before the last shot is fired. For humanity and the Conclave, that moment came at the Trihelion system, a stellar fortress of 3 suns, orbiting each other in a chaotic, radiant dance. It was the heart of the Conclave's military power, the stage where they intended to crush humanity once and for all. The Conclave amassed everything: over 1 million soldiers, thousands of warships, planetary shields, and automated defense platforms orbiting every world. They had planned meticulously, believing humans would avoid such a heavily defended system. They were wrong. The humans arrived not as a scattered fleet, but as a single, coordinated strike, precision honed by the Convergence Mind. Ships warped in through folded space corridors, arriving silently in the shadows of conclave giants. For the aliens, sensors went dark. Communications failed. Weapons fizzled. A quantum null field suppressed all conventional energy, rendering every shield and cannon useless. Then humanity struck. 3 fleets converged. The Solar Vanguard, sleek vessels bristling with phase technology, the Odyssey fleet, colossal starships with singularity cannons, and the Black Horizon, a fleet piloted entirely by digital minds, capable of thinking and acting faster than any organic mind. The Conclave panicked. Their commanders scrambled to regain control. But human ships moved with uncanny coordination, bypassing defenses, disabling systems, and neutralizing fleets without a single unnecessary loss of life. Drone swarms dismantled enemy hulls. Phase walkers sabotaged command bridges and reappeared miles away. Digital humans infiltrated networks, speaking directly into alien minds. You attacked our civilians. Your war ends today. The Conclave responded with desperation. The Starforged Leviathan, a moon-sized battleship equipped with a black hole generator, entered the system. Its gravity waves ripped ships apart, promising to crush the humans once and for all. For a moment, the battle teetered. Then the Odyssey Eternal fired its singularity cannon, a focused beam of solar plasma amplified through a gravitational lens. The Leviathan's armor cracked like glass. Its core imploded, tearing a micronebula into existence. The stars themselves seemed to shiver as the monstrous ship vanished in a flash of unimaginable energy. The Conclave's fleets faltered. Panic spread. Reports of entire sectors collapsing within minutes filled every command center. Alien officers stared at each other, unable to comprehend what they faced. Humans were not simply fighting. They were everywhere at once, adapting to every threat, exploiting weaknesses faster than the Conclave could anticipate. Every strategy, every advance, every countermeasure was met with a response that seemed almost prescient. And still, the humans showed restraint. Civilian worlds were untouched. Infrastructure remained intact. Their goal was not annihilation. It was domination in a different sense, proof that humanity could not be defeated. For the first time, the Conclave realized the truth. This was not a species they could conquer. This was a force beyond them. A civilization forged in chaos, survival, and evolution, now unified under a single, unbreakable purpose. The Battle of Three Suns ended not with surrender, but with a collapse of the Conclave's will. Fleet after fleet signaled defeat. Territories once deemed impregnable were now in human hands. The galaxy understood a new reality. Humans were no longer the unpredictable outliers they had once dismissed. They were a united, adaptive, unstoppable species, and they had only begun to fight. The war ends, and a new era begins. The final phase of the war was swift, decisive, and unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Humanity did not descend upon conquered worlds with fire and wrath. Their fleet struck with precision, targeting only military installations, command centers, and fleet armadas. Civilian populations were spared, infrastructure preserved, a testament to a species that fought not for cruelty, but for justice. The Conclave, once arrogant and unyielding, now reeled under the force of coordinated human strategy. Every attempt to regroup was thwarted before it could take shape. Communications networks collapsed under digital infiltrations. Phase walkers disrupted supply lines from within. Drone swarms dismantled warships before crews could respond. The convergence mind, which had guided human strategy from its inception, ensured every strike was efficient, every movement synchronized, every victory decisive. For the first time in millennia, the scattered branches of humanity, baseline, augmented, cybernetic, digital, and phase-walking, moved as one unstoppable organism. In Vela Prime, the crystalline capital of the Conclave, panic reached its zenith. Reports of sector after sector falling to humans filled the High Council chambers. The Illinois Thari chair, once proud and commanding, now trembled as fleets that were thought invincible crumbled. Then, without warning, a single human ship appeared in orbit above Vela Prime. The Solace, a vessel representing every branch of humanity. Its crew was a delegation of leaders, thinkers, and warriors, standing not as conquerors, but as envoys. The High Council froze. For centuries, they had expected humans to fight with chaos. Instead, here they were, unarmed in appearance, commanding authority with the weight of inevitability. A human representative, a baseline woman with piercing silver eyes, spoke calmly. "Your war is over," she said. Shock rippled through the conclave. The Illinois Thari whispered, We believed you were divided, weak." The woman's gaze did not waver. Humanity appears divided because we choose freedom. But when others strike first, when our civilians are harmed, we unite. We become one mind, one will, one force. That is what you have faced. The conclave shivered. A Vrax general dared to ask, "What will you do to us?" She smiled, faintly, almost sadly. "Not as conquerors, not as tyrants, but as guardians. You attacked our people. You forced us into war. We will end this conflict, and we will ensure it does not happen again." One by one, the alien leaders knelt, not in humiliation, but in recognition. They understood, finally, what the galaxy had been warned of for millennia. Humanity could not be broken. Humanity could not be defeated. And humanity, when united, was a force that ensured justice, balance, and survival. The war concluded. Humanity established a Terran guardianship, an alliance led by humans but inclusive of all willing species. Peace treaties were rewritten, borders redrawn, and armadas reproposed for defense rather than conquest. The galaxy had changed forever. Back on Earth, beneath the ancient sky, the convergence mind deactivated, its final thought echoing through every human system. Unity achieved. Humanity prevails. For the first time in recorded history, the stars were safe, not because of fear, not because of tyranny, but because humanity had risen. And across the galaxy, one lesson became universal. Do not provoke the humans. They do not start wars, but when forced, they finish them, and no force can stop them.